So you're. I mean, I've been around you a lot. You're very sensitive. So you're picking up on.
It even shows when I just walk in the room, huh?
Oh yeah, you're sensitive. But you're an artist. You catch vibration, you catch tunes, you catch compositions, you catch the music from the spheres, you catch meaning. So you're also sensitive to people.
That's right.
So what do you do to guard yourself from the backlash of all the people? There's so many people that are in fear right now and worry. They haven't yet claimed a new life for themselves beyond this. They're still into coping. Are they going to make it through? What do you do to protect yourself from that onslaught of that kind of energy?
I mean, I think one of the things that we learn with our spiritual practices, I think in the beginning, I can speak for myself. In the beginning, my spiritual practices are things that I want to do because it's naturally me. I want to contemplate. I love having a prayer practice. I want to use color consciously. I want to use my essential oils, and I want to do yoga, and I want to do these things. But what we learn as we mature in our practices is that we do all these things so that when something comes up, we're strong and our practices are strong, and we know we can go to our toolbox. And so I go to my toolbox, and I do that with my life as a traveling musician as well, because just the amount of energy that you get from people is insane. Yes. Being from the airplane and then the shows and how people talk to you and how they feel and all the energy they give you and all the energy they want from you, it's insane. Right. And so I have a lot of practice with learning how to clean myself off and calm myself down, to calm my nervous system and build myself back up with nutrients and stuff. Yeah. That's been the hardest part, is the nutrients for me. But in this time with this
hard in terms of what? Hard in terms of getting what you need, or
being consistent.
Oh, consistency. Yeah.
And just realizing I didn't eat. And what I did eat, that wasn't nutrient rich. And just that's been the hardest part for me, all this 20 years. With this quarantine era, going to all my practices, meditation, because most people know me as a singer-songwriter, but in my personal life, like my friends, they be like, India's a meditator. She's a meditator. It's what I love to do. And I get so much guidance from that world, from that space inside of myself, that sacred space inside of myself. And so I have had more practice listening to what I hear. So if I hear limit your news, I limit the news. And so what I do is read the New York Times a couple times a week. I don't watch too much TV news. I do when my mom tells me to turn it on. Right. But I stay abreast of what's going on, but I don't watch it all day. And just a lot of other things, certain essential oils that I'll have on the stove in my house, what to do with my clothes if I have to go to the store, like salt water and things that I never thought of that I just get from my meditations. Yeah. So
do you put salt water? Do you put salt water on your bed?
No, but now I'm about to tell a secret. I put selenite around my bed.
Selenite. Okay. No, that absorbs energy as well.
Yeah, I have a big old black tourmaline under the bed and selenite all around on my bedpost. But I use salt water.
People need to hear this though. People need to hear our little secrets.
Yeah, and it works for me. But I use salt water for cleaning off a lot of my groceries. I use salt on my body in the shower, salt water for a lot of stuff. In my nose, if I have to go out, just, to clean out passages and stuff. Right. But those are things I don't think about because I think about them when I have a little cold or something. Right. But now when I go into my meditation, it's like, hey, remember your salt water? Remember your cinnamon oil, or all those things.
What's your go-to essential oil?
Ooh, a go-to.
Your top three.
Tea tree, lavender, lemongrass right now. Okay. But I mean, I'm like always moving around my oils, just moving. Right. Yeah. And then, also I think what's helping me through this time is surrendering to the quiet. Mm-hmm. I want to be quiet. I'm happy that this is a good time for this for me, but also like really surrendering to it and really giving myself a chance to grow. Right. In that way that you do when you're really with yourself. Right. It makes me feel like, okay, so a new world is coming. I can really ponder these things, what it will look like. It's giving me a lot of comfort.
Yeah, this is very important. I try to teach that this can be a great reset for all of us, that the world is malleable right now. There's nothing stable. The world of phenomena is changing. It's changing every day. And this is the time where we can actually penetrate and pinpoint a new vision. Not only for ourselves, definitely, with the quiet time and being still, doing our meditation, our spiritual practices, but collectively, we can begin to chart a whole new course.
Yes.
We can begin to articulate a whole new vision of what's possible for us and not rely on the pundits and the politicians and the news media. And that's where we want to like take our power back.
Yes.
We want to begin to describe the world we want to live in and walk in that direction.
Yes.
Because this particular virus has exposed so many places in society that we're lacking. You know, the most vulnerable are not taken care of. Our healthcare system is not up to par. Our political system is polarized. Our legal system hasn't worked for a long time for people of color and poor people. I mean, there's so many things that are now being more exposed because of this virus that perhaps as we're doing our introspection, we can grow in a little compassion and say, when we go out, we want to actually build a different world. We don't want to go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to go back to somebody else's vision of us walking around with masks and being distant from each other either.
Mm-hmm.
We want to, or lining up for some mass vaccination. We want to walk out and actually build a different world, but we have to take our power back. And what you're describing in terms of your introspective practices is how we take our power back. We have to get it. We have to be in alignment with it.
There are some things that no one outside of you can tell you.
Not one person, only your own soul. Yeah, only your own soul.
You know, before the quarantine, of course, when we were on set, we were walking off from the wedding scene and you and I were walking along the little cobblestone. And I started telling you, I was kind of complaining. And I said, I feel upset that we've been people who have been visioning a beautiful world for a long time. We've put all of our talents and all of our prayers and our thoughts and all of our life force energy into making the world better. And then we look up and it's like this. Right. And you said to me, it's because of the spiritual people that these things are being exposed.
Right.
And so like, I thought about that a lot after you said it, because it made me feel like stop wasting energy on being mad and put your energy into figuring out what you're going to do. Right. And what I've learned about myself, you asked, I've learned a lot of things about myself. I have a whole new relationship with some of the mundane things in my life.
Right.
I would love to get back to that. But what I was about to say is what I've learned about myself as an artist is there are some other places I'm excited to go inside of my songwriting and stuff, but there's always a new place to go. But I wouldn't change a thing about what I do and how I present it. And that makes me feel at peace knowing that I'm willing to continue to do my work, even when it looks like it's not helping. I'm willing to continue. And I needed to hear that. I needed to remember that I'm doing it because I want to, not because I think I can control any outcome. It's what's right for me.
Right, right. You do it without an attachment to the outcome, but you do your best. Yes. Not attached to an outcome. Then the outcome forms itself based on the energy we're putting out. You know,
so hard.
And it's simple, but it's definitely difficult.
I was so naive.
You know this as a meditator, that when you begin to meditate on a regular basis, it's not all peaches and cream. Stuff comes up to be looked at.
In the beginning, that's the scary. It goes away quick, but you have to get through the stuff first.
You got to get through it. Yeah. And that's what's happening in society. You know, the amount of people that are now engaging in meditation and visioning and affirmative prayer and things of that particular nature are speeding up the cleansing process in our world. So what looks like terrible is in fact a big cleansing that's happening. And it's happening rapidly. Yeah. And so it's not that the spiritual folks have done anything wrong. They've actually done something right. So many things. You know, many years ago, if a politician lied, you wouldn't find that about that for 5 or 10 years. Yeah. Now it's the next day. I mean, everything is so speeded up. Yeah. you already, he's lying when he's talking. Yeah. Yeah. You know, everything is just so you can just see things now, just across the board. And I think it's a preparation for the next level of what we can create together if we own the power that's within us, if we really embrace that and really understand that we're not pawns, we're not victims. You know, we're cosmic light beings. so much intelligence and power that we hardly even used any of it except just to survive or have fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
we need to, this particular, to me, the pandemic is causing us to step up our game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just step it up. And many people are discovering that they had a lot of frivolity in their life. They were running around doing nothing, but doing it really fast in their cars and going shopping and doing this and doing that. And now they can't do it. And a lot of people are now satiated because they pizzaed themselves to death and they drank themselves to death and they smoked. They did all the stuff. They're like,
now what?
I need to do something else in my life now.
Still can't go out. Now what?
Still can't go out. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
So it's see, you already had a practice. So
yeah.
It allowed you to go deeper, but now it's providing the context for other people to stop and take stock of themselves.
Yeah.
What is my life about? What are my priorities? So where I want to be in 5 years? How do I want the world to look for my children and grandchildren? You know, these kind of questions are now coming up. Yeah.
I'm having new relationship with the mundane things in my life, I said.
Yeah,
because
right.
I always did have a big vision for things, and I was naive enough to think that I could see this world that I think is much further off, but still I want to be a part of making that world. I still do,
yes.
which
yes.
took me a few months to remember that. So I always had a big vision, but the small vision of my life, I didn't manage very well. And so like I was putting some stuff in the cabinet the other day, and I just started, Spirit started talking to me. And it was like, see, this is how people take their vitamins every day, because they wake up at the same time and they go to bed before midnight. And this is why and I was feeling stuff like, it was kind of, the message was kind of like, there was no way you were going to be able to be consistent with these things because your life was, I wasn't always busy, but I was always busy.
Right. Mentally.
And yeah. And in my heart and thinking about the next thing and what can I do next and big ideas and busy. And so I would laugh at people who talked about going to bed before midnight. I would literally laugh like midnight. Okay. I'll see you in the morning. I'll just be going to bed. Yeah. Yeah. And now I've been going to bed around midnight, 11:30. I wake up when the sun rises naturally. And if the sun is shining, I want to jump out of bed and go to my balcony so I can sit in the morning sun. Was never like this. I never did any of these things. I never been consistent like with my health regimen. I'm pretty healthy, which thank God, but it could have been so much more conscious and consistent. And now I'm ready to look at how to have a more balanced life.
Right. So the idea is, you said a couple of things. One, you don't want to beat yourself up, obviously, for what you could have done before. You want to embrace this new step and then make an intention to take it with you when we're able to go out again, so you don't lose it.
Yes.
Secondly, you said you were naive enough to think that you could make a difference. Now, I like to say we are to be consciously naive. That is, consciously naive to actually think we can make a difference on the planet. Because resignation, cynicism, skepticism doesn't get us anywhere.
That's right.
But conscious naivete does. If you actually believe it, then you start walking in that direction, and with God consciousness, all things are possible. But if we just say, we can't make a difference. I mean, what would have happened if somebody would have said, apartheid's going to last forever. We can't make any difference.
Right. That's right.
Or other things that we've seen change in the world. But somebody was naive enough to think, we can really end this system.
Yeah.
We can really end this system and birth something new. And then momentum, vision developed, and change occurred. Yeah. So I think that we have to live in conscious naivete. I believe we can make a difference even when it's daunting and it doesn't seem possible. And the powers that be thank their God. They're in a big delusion,
I want to specify, because I don't know what I said, but what I meant to say was that I thought I would see the changes that I was working towards, and I thought I would see them. Well, you know what? Yeah. There's a saying, I'm going to say it wrong, but it struck me. It was the Indian philosopher Tagore. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Tagore.
And I'm saying it. I'm going to say this wrong, but the sentiment was, he who plants a tree knowing he'll never sit in the shade is just beginning to understand the meaning of life. And when I read that, I was like, that's what I've been dealing with this last year. That's it. Yeah. And so to know that I might not sit in the shade of all of the seeds that I plant is something that I'm coming to terms with, and still being willing to do my best.
That is it. I can remember one time I was teaching at the University Metaphysics School of Ministry, and there was a teacher said, "How do you have so much patience with these students?" So they're asking all of these stupid questions, and she was really very upset.
Wow.
And I said, I won't say her name, but I said, "Listen, I'm planting seeds. I may not see those seeds grow in that student in front of me today in this class, but if I plant a seed within them, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, they'll say, 'Oh, that's what he was talking about.' I may not be there to see it, but I'm not hoping that this person suddenly becomes the greatest mystic in the world in front of me, or becomes the greatest meditator or practitioner, but I have to teach knowing that I'm planting seeds." So you were speaking of the same thing.
Yeah.
And again, it's being out here where the action is, with all systems go, but with no attachment to an outcome. And the outcome forms itself based on the energy. And sometimes the outcome is bigger and better than our imagination, because we have no attachment to it. But I do think if we look at the evolution of humanity, that changes have occurred, but they happen so slowly, or it appears to be so slowly, because they don't come with big, "Whoa, this happened." We look back, we can see things have changed for the better, and there's tremendous work to be done, and cleansing is still happening, and there are bedrocks of ignorance and humanity and hate and bigotry and greed that are very, very loud. And people that are into compassion and generosity, forgiveness, sometimes aren't that loud.
Yeah, we're gentle people.
We just go about and do it.
Yeah.
But because life always wins, and the higher frequency has more gain and more power than the lower frequency. When you measure thought forms, a thought that emanates from a sense of separation is less powerful than a thought form that emanates from a sense of compassion or love. So life is always going to win because it's more powerful, even though it takes a little time, But we have to do it. We have to do it.
We have to do it because it's who we are.
Yeah. So when you go back out, when first of all, it's not going to be normal. We're not going to go back to normal, nor do we want to. But when we're no longer cloistered, let's say, and some semblance of activity begins to take place, what do you want to take with you? What do you feel that is your move on that?
Part of that is still being formulated. Yeah. Around my birthday last year, my birthday's in October, and so my birthday last year.
You're a Libra girl.
I'm a Libra girl. You're a Cancer,
October
right?
What?
3rd.
Yeah, I'm a Cancer, July 21st. Cancer, Leo, right on the cusp.
Oh, I didn't know you were on a Leo cusp. That makes more sense. Okay.
The next day I would have been a Leo, so I'm the last day.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I really started thinking about how to have a more sustainable career health-wise, because I burnt myself out twice in the same year, like true burnout.
Wow.
And so it was like, I want to do these things, but I want to do them in a way that's more sustainable. And I also started thinking about who I've grown into just as a person, as a woman, as a human being, all the things I've learned and the ways I've developed. And also, in life, as you know, when one generation leaves, you move up a generation. Yeah. So now I'm starting to think about who I am in this role that I play in this generation at this time. Because, yes. When I was 25, I was the young kid. And now 20 years later into my career, I am in the place of the people that I used to look up to.
Right.
And so I'm asking myself how I want to do this and what more I want to do. And there's a lot of the things that I am as which is the center of my life, my spiritual life. A lot of those things I would love to not always just hide in the music anymore. I would love to publish and teach and do other things that are natural to me. And I don't exactly know how that looks. And so however I take that back out into the world after this cloistering, I don't know, but I'm enjoying having this time to ponder all of it and to not have to feel like I have to jump on something really quick and turn it into a business right away and all that stuff that I'm trained to do. And I think the other thing that I'm taking with myself back out is finally giving myself permission to be a person who is out in the world, but who doesn't always have to get on a plane to do that. Because, you know, people, we all have been going live and doing these things for, you know, a long time. Right, but to me, that was like, well, that's just for fun. We got to get out there. But I like the idea of giving myself permission to really be intimate with people in a way that I don't have to get on a plane. And so even when you said people would love to hear about your essential oils and your stuff, I like the idea of being able to share, not just hide my personal life all the way away from my professional one. So taking that too.
Right. Because your personal life is actually your spiritual life and your practice. Yes. And that obviously shows up in your music, but you can't separate that from who you are.
No.
And so what I'm hearing you say, you're establishing an intention to just pull back the curtains and say, this is who I am.
Yes.
You know, I'm not just this person on the stage singing about whatever. I'm actually living this, and this is how I live it. And I think, you carry the frequency and the vibration. As I was introducing you, we talked about your message, your meaning, the vibration you carry. You know, you're a real artist. I mean, I like to always define an artist as an individual that captures inspiration from the spheres, comes back into the community and changes lives with it. Everybody in music is not an artist to me. You know, artists are different. They carry a different frequency, and you are in that frequency. You're in that vibration. You're a real artist. And when people talk about you, you know, it's like with such reverence. Yeah, I read. You know, it's not just like celebrity. Like,
thank you.
Oh my God, she changed my life. That song really made me fall in love with myself. You know, and you've touched so many people that if you establish this intention now that you're talking about, it's just going to add to your vibrational legacy and help change the planet better. Yeah. Hey, you want to sing anything?
Thank you.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but I am. Do you feel like acapella-ing anything, or I mean, you don't have to. You know,
I don't mind that. Oh no, this has been a joy. I always have wanted to spend more time in conversation with you. See, you know, I'm a Libra, so now I'm like, well, which one?
What do you want to say?
I wanted to say one more thing about the short film that we did together.
I love it.
We were talking about our spiritual practices, and one of the things that I wanted to do with this short film was show myself in the flow with some of my spiritual practices. And it was kind of like a leap for me. I was like, I don't know if you remember this, but when you came on set, I said, we're going to have yoga in the film. And you said, are you going to actually do actual asana? And I said, yeah, I'm going to do yoga on camera.
You look good. You have a,
thank you.
Everyone, you got to see this film because she doesn't have a stunt double. She's actually doing the asana.
Yes.
She goes back. She's actually, listen, she's a practitioner of yoga. And you have to see it. She's actually living these practices. It's not a joke. And so, that was beautiful. I was like, really, we do this. That's great. Yeah. Because a lot of people, you know, right now, spirituality is kind of popular. It's become popular. So there's a lot of people on the train speaking about it, but they don't necessarily have a practice yet. You know, but I appreciate the fact that they're talking about it and singing about it. I don't have any problem with that. But you actually have a practice for real.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The marketing person in me thinks she should sing part of the video, but that's not what's in my heart. I was thinking about this song that is, because what I'm missing for a long time during this quarantine, people will call and say, how are you? And I'll be like, I'm fine. I'm home. I'm fine. And I'm quiet and I like all this. And then maybe about 3 weeks ago, the only thing I started missing was being able to travel at will, not for work. I don't even like traveling for work, but to be by the oceans and, you know, go to Bali, go to Seattle and be in the cold and look at the mountains and all the stuff that I love, that things that align me, realign me when I'm out of alignment. And I can't just do that now. Because after the stress of editing this video, that's exactly what I wanted to do. And then it was done and I was like, I can't go.
Right.
And there's a song that I wrote that is about the beauty of nature and just the beauty of the vibration when you're in nature. Right. Called Moved by You. And it's what keeps coming to mind. And the song goes, I love the fragrance of your voice. You're the color of loyal. My favorite sound is your smile. I'm intoxicated with joyful. Oh, I am moved by you. Oh, I am moved by you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh, this is
singing
great.
acapella always makes me cry.
I got a little tear right here myself. That was sweet. And I'm remembering your mother when we were on sets. We were talking about some things we wanted to do, and she said, "Why don't you two just do something? You sing, you speak, get a place, and just do it." Remember that? I said, "Just make it simple. You can have a couple of
guests." Yes, and I said, "You guys just she's psychic, and she just comes out with stuff." Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to do that.
Obviously, COVID has slowed down that particular movement, but we're going to do that. You and I are going to do something. Yeah, we're going to have an event in which is going to be song and message and spiritual practices, meditation.
Yes.
You know, so everybody who's listening, be aware that we just put that out there. Her mother told us to do it, so we're going to do it, and it's going to be great. And we will let you know when we're back out, when that day is happening.
That's my type of fun right there.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I've been in design for a while, and it's coming in really handy during this time, is I have a new app that's coming out. It's out now. Have you downloaded my app yet?
I didn't even know about it.
Well, listen, get it today.
Yeah.
You can go to michaelbbeckwith.tv and subscribe. Okay. And then go to the App Store. Okay. It'll say Beckwith Inspires, MBB. Or people can go to my website at michaelbbeckwith.com and sign up. But it's designed for this time of when we're cloistered. I'm going to have programs on there and inspirations. And of course, when we can go back out again, I'll still be hitting with behind the scene kind of stuff and teachings and stuff like that. So about that. And any last words? Because this has been great hanging out with you.
This has been great hanging out with you too.
Are you in Atlanta right now?
No.
You're in Nashville.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. And it's nice and rainy, which I love rain. So it feels good in the air, all the negative ions and stuff. Even though I can't get to the beach, I can get some rain.
Right.
I think what I want to say, I have a request of you lastly.
Yes.
Will you pray for me?
Absolutely.
Because you know,
or something
there's two things. There are two things.
I know one of them.
What we talked about on set.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready. It just has to be right.
And what's the other thing?
The other thing is that I will be aligned with what my life is becoming and all of what I have inside to offer the world. That I'll be able to do it courageously and do it sustainably and aligned with my truth.
Absolutely. So why don't we close with this brief prayer right now, and then we'll have a final word. We just give thanks, and everybody can just join in with us because prayer is non-local, touches everybody. So we just stop in this moment and we begin with a great degree of thanksgiving and pure appreciation for life itself, that we exist at all. In consciousness of gratitude, we recognize there's a presence that is never an absence, that is everywhere in its fullness. And that by means of us wants to express through us fully and completely. I know that I'm at one with this life force. Therefore, the word that I'm speaking is its law. I speak it right now for India Irie, knowing that where she is, God is in God's fullness, and that divine and compelling right action is revealing itself in every area of her life. And that not only is her life and her career and her movement sustainable, it is blissful. That she's moved by the Spirit to be and to do what is necessary with her gifts and skills and capacities without strain or suffering, but with bliss and ecstasy and joy, and allowing the happiness of her soul to cascade out of no thing to become the very somethingness of her existence. We call forth that divine loving essence in her life that reveals itself as pure, unadulterated relationship. The relationship that she has with God, the relationship she has with herself, shows up as a divine companion with ease and with grace and with dignity. I know that it's happening right now. So her life reveals the order and the harmony of the infinite in ways that can't even be described by these words. I give thanks for this, for her receptivity, and allow it to be so. And everyone that is tuning in right now, we uplift each individual, knowing that where they are, the presence is, and right action, safety, security, health, vitality, vigor, prosperity reigns supreme. I see it and give thanks for it. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that opportunity, because I love to pray, I love to meditate. I just love that sweet connection with the presence that's never more real to me than the chair I'm sitting on. India, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll do it again. And
yes, please.
We'll have some conversation about things we've talked about, and we'll start having conversation about this program we're going to put on. Because we gotta obey your mama.
She's the queen of the flash insight, and she'd be right.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Peace and blessings. Thank you so much.
See you too.
We'll talk soon.
Okay.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.